the Modern Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast, NBA Playoff Edition. I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
This is our basketball podcast. Recap, breakdown, and analyze players and teams in the playoffs from previous games, previous day. Ja. How you feel?
Well, I just woke up like 5 minutes ago, so I'm feeling half tired, half good.
I guess that's good. I guess that's good.
Yeah, I'm still here though. I'm alert.
That's good. I mean, we got a lot of basketball to discuss. A lot of games to go over, some important things to talk about. So let's get into it. First, starting off with the team that just passed. The Utah Jazz, the number 1 seed in Utah, battling the Los Angeles Clippers, coming off their Game 7 victory series clincher against the Dallas Mavericks. And it was competitive the first few minutes in that first quarter. Then it was bizarre land for Utah. Yeah. They could not hit a shot to save their life.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And this is not an exaggeration. If you didn't watch the game, the Jazz, I believe, missed 20 or 21 straight shots.
Yeah, man.
In the first quarter. I mean, it was like they were shooting on double rims.
Yep.
I don't know what the hell. Wide open shots, 3-point shots. You know, their go-to, they love the 3-point shots. It was almost reminiscent of that game 1 in Memphis, where they just could not buy a 3-point bucket.
Yeah.
It was really looking scary. Jordan Clarkson was really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they tried to take it into the paint, Zubac.
Yeah.
So I mean, jeez, it was looking bad for Utah, but luckily for them, the Clippers were off and on too. So even though they were down, it wasn't like they were down by like 20, which they probably should have been, missing 20 straight shots.
Yeah.
They were only down. It was still single digits. It was only down by like 9, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they were. But you know why they were down by that much, despite the fact that, like, you know, they missed 20 straight shots.
Why is that?
You want to go into detail, or you want me to finally open up?
Is it because of the Clippers?
Yeah. The Clippers did everything right, but their stars, they were nowhere in existence. Do I hear something called pandemic scoring P? Do I hear angry plant guy Kawhi? They think Kawhi was in foul trouble. Both struggled mightily from the field, heavily from the field, and they couldn't get anything going. I'm telling you right now, there's no way you win. You could get lucky, probably winning one, but there's no way you're gonna win a playoff game if both of your star players are struggling. Let's just get out the way immediately.
Man, you alluded to Kawhi. Yeah, he got into foul trouble, and that's a portion of it. And other portion was, you also got to give some credit to the Jazz defense, because they was just trying to get the ball out of his hands. Because unlike PG, who just struggled and was missing a lot of his shots, Kawhi didn't really take a lot of those shots because he was trapped, and he was getting double teamed. There's a lot of pressure, so he had to force up and give the ball up.
Yeah.
So when your star players are like that, you just mentioned it. It's not gonna doing good, but luckily for them, some role players stepped up. Reggie Jackson stepped up again.
Bobby, yeah.
Even though eventually, we'll talk about it later. Marcus Morris, they needed him again to play better. At first, he started off playing better.
Yeah.
Kind of deteriorated later, but Zubac, who I was mentioned, was great defensively. He was really playing great defensively. And also getting buckets inside for them as well. But key was Luke Kennard, who stepped up big time for them. Yeah. I mean, he was on fire.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
And yeah, so that's why the Clippers had that lead despite their star players kind of lacking. And as you just mentioned, the Jazz were down because they just could not buy a shot.
Yeah.
But then, okay, the second quarter hit. Now the Jazz, they finally getting something going. But the big turnaround was that third quarter for the Jazz.
Yep.
And why? I'll tell you why. Spida, Donovan Mitchell, their best player, their MVP of that team. He could not be stopped in that third quarter. Could not be stopped.
Yeah.
D-Wade's son?
Yeah, D-Wade's son. I swear.
I mean, he started off 4 for 4. You could tell that he was just getting high. He was trying to will his team back to this game because the Clippers, they were trying to escape.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like that too. But Donovan Mitchell, he's like, we're not losing this game. We're not losing this game. And he took over. And the rest of the Jazz team, when you see your star player doing what he was doing, you're like, okay, let's give him our help. Then the other guy started stepping up. Jordan Clarkson had a much better rest of the game compared to that first quarter. Much better rest of the game. Now you see Bogdanovich, Rudy Gobert was great for them. And by the way, this was all without Mike Conley. I forgot to mention was injured and out for this game because they really needed him.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they needed somebody to set their guys up.
Yeah.
Mike Conley is great for that. But it took them time to get set up guys. That's why they were struggling so much.
Yeah.
So they really missed Mike Conley. But like I mentioned, Donovan Mitchell was fantastic in that second half. Rudy Gobert was great. Bogdanovich was great. Jordan Clarkson, much better game after the first quarter. Royce O'Neal bringing the intensity and the hustle, being a spark plug, doing the little dirty work, doing the little things. That's what he's been doing this whole season. That's why I love to watch him play. He bring that toughness to this team.
Yeah.
And now, because of that third quarter, in which the Jazz outscored the Clippers, I think like 32 to 19.
Yeah.
That's what got them back into this game.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, their three-point shooting got back because of that. They finally started shooting the ball a lot better in that second half compared to the first half.
Yeah.
And when the Jazz are getting going on three-point land, that's gonna be tough.
Again, man, they talked about it a lot during the season. This is a team that I believe were number 1 in attempts, and they were top 10 so it just shows how efficient they are at shooting it. And just like what you said, when they have it going, they have it going. And when they have the automatic clip from deep, they think they're the Warriors of the past. Not saying that they are the Warriors of the past, they're nowhere near. But I'm just saying they think they're the Warriors of the past. You know what I mean? And just like what you said, that third quarter was an important quarter for them. It was an important quarter. It set up everything. Yes, they didn't have Mike Conley, but hey, again, Donovan Mitchell could do everything that he needs offensively in order to try to help that team. And that's what he did. Whether it was scoring, playmaking, defending, he was going to do what was necessary to get his teammates to open up this game.
Yep.
And that's what he did.
And now you got a situation where they have that lead in that fourth quarter. Now they're trying to maintain, and the Clippers are trying to fight back. Kawhi Leonard's finally starting to get it going a little bit now.
Yeah.
TG's still struggling, but you could tell. I mean, it's not without reach. It's not out of reach yet. Even though Jazz are trying, it's still not out of reach. Fortunately for them, Reggie Jackson got in foul trouble and eventually got fouled out.
Yeah.
So now down Reggie Jackson. Now Donovan Mitchell still killing them. He's killing Luke Kennard. Defensively.
Well, I don't know why Luke Kennard is on him, but hey.
That's what I'm. Well, it's not because they're doing a screen. They're doing a screen, and every time they do that screen because with Bogdanovich, I think it was Bogdanovich because he's guarding Luke Kennard's guarding him. He just couldn't do anything. Donovan Mitchell was just getting to the lane at will. I mean, he was just being aggressive. He was just attacking. And I don't know. I think Ty Lue should have made the adjustment should have taken him out the game.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was great offensively, but I mean, you gotta need some defense. Donovan Mitchell can't be stopped right now.
Exactly.
And he's apart.
Exactly. And he's a liability defensively. You know what I mean? Because again, you could get caught up real quick in those pick and roll not pick and roll, but just those pick situations in which now the defender you have to make the decision to switch as a defender. And let's be honest, in that situation, you just said the main threat. He was on Bogdanovich when they did that situation and got switched on to Donovan Mitchell. Either way, it's a threat. You pick him up and then you try to double team Donovan. Whoa, Bogdanovich, and we know who Bogdanovich is. That's the threat right there. That's a one red flag right there. Like you can't leave him open. So that's one bad thing right there. And it's just like, two, if you try to, Donovan could be on the island and he could like basically try to find a way to draw a foul. So you're right. That's a point where you got to make the decision. All right, I need more defense. I need somebody who is capable of doing this. Let me take him out and let me put somebody else in, because that's going to be always, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh, you said it.
That's what the Jazz just did. It ain't broke, don't fix it. We killing this dude. We putting him in bad situations. We getting buckets on him easy. There we go. Don't need to fix it.
And that's what was happening. And it got very late, and finally, Paul George woke up a bit after struggling so much. Finally woke up a bit, and he actually helped them get back into this game. And next thing you know, it's a one possession game, and the Clippers get a stop. They have the ball. They're down by 3. They needed 3, obviously. And I just want to say, what a tremendous defensive possession by the Jazz. You couldn't have played that better. Maybe a little bit better, because only one part I was wrong with that, and that's Rudy Gobert had jumped. But Marcus Morris, he didn't jump into him, which he probably should have. If he did, that would have been a foul. He would have got 3 free throws. But instead, decided not to, and tried to take a 3 over Gobert. And when you're 7'1", 2-time defensive player of the year, possibly going to be a 3-time defensive player of the year, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Rudy Gobert blocks it, and after that, game's over. Time runs out, and I just want to see the defense the Jazz have. They're switching, staying on their man, being disciplined, getting the ball out of Kawhi's hands, not jumping, even though Gobert had jumped, but not jumping on PG, not jumping on Kawhi, just staying true. That was great defense.
Yeah, yes, it was. And again, this just shows you this game. One thing for sure, again, this game just shows you is how versatile the Jazz is on so many ways. Their game plan could change up so much in so good ways because their personnel and stuff.
That's why you changed up.
Yeah, you damn right. Because let me tell you something. The Clippers are talented, but they don't got this kind of game plan. I'll tell you that right now. They don't have the change or the switch up, especially again. No disrespect to PG, but you can't struggle. Well, I can't say that either because it's going to be days like this. But it's just like, you said, which is a great thing because he did lead his team back a little bit. But you can't be having struggling games like this. You got to try to find some way to assert your dominance more. You got to the line, which is okay, but it's going to get to a point where you really just have to say great defense by the Jazz because it's just like, you don't know. I don't know what to truly honestly say outside of that about PG.
Well, Jazz fans would say that he's over. Jazz fans would say that he's overrated. So that's what they were chanting. But
well, I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say that he just have to find some ways to he has to watch some film and try to get it back differently, see different ways, open up, see different schemes. What could he do in order to go against this Jazz defense? But
because
go on.
No, he needs to play better. He needs to play better.
Yeah, because even though I don't got them winning the series, but they most definitely not going to win the series. Them struggling like this and from the field. So yeah, and again, the Jazz team just versatile in so many ways. It's kind of tough.
Real quick, do you think that Ty Lue should have called timeout when you saw him scrambling in that final possession?
In that final possession? Well, yeah. Well, I put it like this, right? They were scrambling because I think everything got messed up, especially after, especially even though he could not have drew a foul on Gobert and stuff like that. But I feel like sometimes you just got to play it out. You just got to play it out, see what happens. And I think that's what they did. I think they just played it out. He already made up a great play. It was a great possession right there. They got the steal. They got an opportunity. Sometimes they just gonna convert, capitalize. And again, with a great defensive team like the Jazz, you could always try to find a way. Don't get me wrong, you could always get beat, though, at that same time. But you can always find a way defensively because all it takes is effort and just be in communication.
Said it right there, brother. Said it right there. As a result, the Clippers do fall 0-0, and the Jazz take the series lead off of the back of Donovan Mitchell's 45-point playoff performances. That man he's a problem. He's a problem. Also, by the way, did you know that he has 4 40-point triple doubles? 40-point triple doubles. 4 40-point games. Ja, did you know that your internet is shit? Oh, it's my fault. Did you know that Donovan Mitchell has 4 40-point games? That is tied for first all time in Utah Jazz history. You know who he's tied with? No, because your internet's still shit. Please, man. It's like what in it's like you in another continent.
Hey man, look. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, follow me.
Jesus Christ. I'm putting you full screen too. It's probably gonna freeze too.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Just follow me, ladies and gentlemen. Wrong light. There we go. Look, we back in business. This time, no interruption.
Now we gotta hit them bad kids.
Unfortunately. But hey, we here. We're gonna do this. And to answer your question, yes, number one, this internet is really and 2, it's crazy because the way it seems, I don't think Donovan, I didn't even know that. Well, I know that he had 1 40-point game, but if you want to tell me that he had 4 40-point games, I almost thought you were lying because it didn't look like that.
You must be thinking about, yeah, you're right. He didn't have those 40-point games. He had the 50-point games. 2 of them last year in the historic Jazz versus Nuggets first round series. The battles between him and Jamal Murray. Of course, who can forget?
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, 57 and 50, I believe, right? Yeah, he had 50 in another game. But yeah, tied with Karl Malone, who also has 4 40-point games.
A legend.
Yeah,
2 ways.
Legend. Okay. All right. Yeah. Utah Jazz take a 1-0 series lead. Let's see if the Clippers can bounce back in the next game. All right, so now with your connection finally back, let's continue on with the podcast. And the other game on the night, the Atlanta Hawks, off of their Game 1 upset in Philly, going back to Philly, battle the 76ers. And let me just get this out the way. There's John Collins, Clint Capella. I'm sorry, y'all cannot stop Embiid.
Well, who can?
Collins was fouling him every possession.
Yeah.
Trying his best. And I know it's tough. But man, was Embiid just he was just dominating both of them. No answer. Yeah. No answer.
Again, it's Embiid. What? We talk about Embiid.
Yeah.
Who's touching him? Let me tell you something. The only person who could touch him is God and Jesus Christ. Those are the only two people.
Marcus All. So it's playoff time. So it fits right with the season.
You stupid. I see
it. But right out from the gate, you can tell the Sixers did not have the same energy or lack thereof energy that they had in the first game, in that first half. Just a different vibe. Embiid was still Embiid because he was Embiid in the first game too. But 3-point shooting was better. Ball movement was better. Their defense was a lot better. I mean, Trae Young did not get off to that hot start that he did. They got the ball away from him. Yeah. They let everybody else be playmakers. They did not let him play make.
Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
What you mean, uh-oh?
You mean other people be playmakers instead of Trae Young? That's not good for the Hawks.
No, it's not good at all. And that's why the Sixers were up. But then in that second quarter, and really towards the end of that second quarter, I mean, this Hawks team can just catch fire, especially from deep. I mean, yeah. Gallo caught fire. Gallo caught fire.
Gallinari.
And even though the Sixers at one point in the first half were up by 18, they were only up by 1 at halftime.
Yeah. This Hawks team is really good. They're really good from we talked about their offense a lot, like, you know what I mean,
mm-hmm.
How good they are offensively because of the main fact that they have straight up shooters. I wouldn't be surprised if they were one of the best shooting teams in the league this season, like, you know what I mean, because they have straight up shooters. You talk about Trae Young, you talk about Gallinari, you talk about Herter, you talk about the people that are not even playing, like Hunter and Reddish, like, you know what I mean. Yeah. They just have straight up shooters. So in today's game, shooting could get you right back into a game, just like how missing a lot of shots could get you right out the game.
And they rolled that shooting wave in that third quarter, you know, staying within it, competing with the Sixers, even took the lead at one point, you know, and it was looking good for the Hawks. It was looking bad for the Sixers because the Hawks looking like they was about to have that momentum entering the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then Doc Rivers made a decision to, let's say, shake things up. And he puts in someone who's been really struggling in this playoff so far. Takes a gamble to go out there, you know, let's see what you can do. And boy, did he shake things up.
Shake it up.
Shake Milton came into the game late in that third quarter and went off.
Yeah.
Gave him that spark plug. 8 points in that late in that third quarter. And then continued at the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Gave him that energy, gave him that scoring, that shooting. I mean, he check. Please. I mean, he was going off.
Yeah.
The Hawks had no answer.
Yeah, man. He sparked that.
Yes, he sparked it, and he really led that and changed the course of this game and the tide in the Sixers' favor. because the Sixers rode that wave that he started on into winning this game.
Yeah. They never looked back after he made those. The moment he made those 2 threes to end the third, I believe, especially that big time three to end the third quarter. Yeah,
well, yes. Mm-hmm.
They never really looked back. He took them all the way. He took them all the way, and then again, you have Embiid, who was dominant. Another great performance. Ben Simmons kept getting substitute in and out in that situation. I seen. I was just like, yo, what's going on? But outside of that, like, man, the Sixers had to most definitely. Thing you gotta love about this team, they know how to close out games in the fourth. They really know how to close out games in the fourth, and I think the regular season and half of this postseason that showed us that they know how to really close out games when it's time.
Yes, and the Sixers defense on that man was great. Trae Young was probably his worst game so far of his young playoff career, because he was killing the Knicks and he killed the Sixers in game 1. And in this game, he just got the ball out of his hands. He struggled. Also probably missed a lot of shots that he usually makes.
Yeah.
Along with the rest of this Hawks team, especially in that fourth quarter. I mean, they could not buy a bucket from deep.
Yeah.
They were really struggling.
Yeah, you're not lying about that, man. And again, when your best player is struggling, hey, better one of your best players than both of your best players. You know what I mean? If you have 2 best players on your team, but when your main leader is kind of struggling, it's kind of hard. It's crazy how they were able to stay in this game so well. But again, that's what happens when the role players step up, or when you have great shooters around you that steps up big time. But like, when your leader is not in rhythm or in sync, it's kind of hard to try to maintain that, and I think that's the difficulty with this game. Trae Young was, thanks to the Sixers defense and having the defensive schemes around him, he struggled, and as a result, they weren't really able to make some kind of big time run.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Also got to give credit to the rest of the Sixers cast, not just Shaq and M.B. Tobias Harris played a much better game in this game, stepped up. Also, Seth Curry was amazing. He was amazing in this game, especially in that first quarter. I mean, first half. Yeah. I mean, he was knocking them down. Best Curry in the playoffs right now.
The best brother in the game.
Yep. And with their performance, Shake Milton's amazing performance late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, the Sixers were able to secure this win, beat this Hawks team, and tie the series up 1-1. But just like Trae Young said last series, going to the A now. And going to Atlanta.
See you in the A. Yep.
See you in the A. All right. Before we go on to predictions for tonight's set of games, we have to talk about someone who's actually playing in tonight's.
Move to the side, man.
Into night's set of games, and or set of game, and that is because the MVP award, the most valuable player award, the most important award for the regular season in NBA history. This is what everybody wants. Those people dream of. It showcase your talent and how really good you are, or how great and amazing you are. And well, it has been announced that this year's MVP goes to none other than, of course, who else would it have been? We've said it for time and time again for the past month or so, but now it's official. The Joker, Nikola Jokic, has been announced as this year's most valuable player, and well-deserved, beating out Stephen Curry and Joel Embiid. Credit to them. Steph Curry with an amazing month of April and last quarter of this season. Embiid was when he played was amazing, but Jokic was consistent each and every month of this season, each and every game of this season. He has been consistent. He's been a tremendous scorer for this Nuggets team. I mean, people really haven't been able to stop him. And when they do try to stop him, and when you do try to double team him, it makes things worse because he gets his team involved. He's a tremendous playmaker. Everything flows through him. It's better for you to honestly leave him one-on-one because double team him, get everybody else involved, and that's when they really kill you.
Yeah.
He is so much valuable to this team. He is so valuable that Jamal Murray got hurt, went down, and they not only maintained, but somehow got better.
Yeah.
And that is because mainly due to Nikola Jokic. So I want to give him a lot of praise and a lot of credit because he really does deserve it.
Yeah. I'll admit to you, bro. The unbiased side of me was saying, like, you know, infinity percent, he deserved all of this. Like, you know what I mean? He really deserves all of this. Also, the biased side of me was saying, damn, shoot, I wish it was Embiid, man. I was really pulling for Embiid. I'm not gonna lie, because let's be honest here. Before he went down with that injury, he was the front runner.
Yes.
Most definitely the front runner for MVP. And I felt like if the injury never happened, or let's say that the injury did happen, but it wasn't severe, and he just missed, like, I don't know, and he just missed, like, you know, just 5 games. I felt like he wouldn't have been the MVP. That's the biased side of me. But now let's take a look at context too. And this is why I say 100% Jokic enjoys this. Everything you just said, but let's most importantly remember, before Murray got hurt, you remember how Murray was kind of like, you know, having those stretches of being inconsistent and looking like the Murray that we don't want to see?
Yeah, that was more in the first half of the season, but yes.
Yeah. When he was still getting wins, well, let's be honest, because they improved over time. I remember when the seasons kind of first started off, they
was in the playoffs though. They were still
in the playoffs. But let's be honest, majority of those wins, Jokic was the main reason. Because again, Murray was struggling, and they needed somebody to go to. Because because when Murray's struggling, like, the Nuggets don't really have a chance much of winning games. And Jokic was like, forget all that. I'm going to put up monster numbers, and I'm still going to win. So when you look at that, then you look at the fact of when Jamal Murray got hurt, as he started to get better in the season over time, and how this team, just like what you said, for some reason, just had a chip on his shoulder to say, oh, I'm going to get better because they've been together for such a long time. Jokic deserves this all the way. He deserves this 100%. Again, I'm still a little bit biased. I'm like, dang, I wish it was Embiid. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and hey, let's hope and pray it ain't no Hakeem situation in which, like, you know, if he meets Jokic sometime in the finals ever, how, like, you know, he want to dominate him. But congratulations to Jokic, man. The Joker. He deserves all the way. The first ever MVP in Nuggets history, I believe. So
yes, the first ever MVP in Nuggets history. Also, the lowest draft pick to be an MVP. Drafted in the second round, pick number 41. Yeah. He's an MVP of this league. Absolutely amazing. Want to give credit to Stephen Curry as well, because if this was an MVP award for the month of April and May, it would have went to Curry.
Yeah,
it would have went to Curry. But even though Curry had a great season all throughout, and then really just shot up in April and May, Jokic has just been very consistent from beginning to end. Also didn't miss games like Embiid, and has helped his team so much in the third seed. And I really do believe that they will be a playing team without Jokic.
Yeah.
He is that important to that team, and he is that good.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get that out there. Congratulations to this year's MVP, Nikola Jokic. But can he actually prove why he was named MVP? Well, we'll have to find out in tonight's game, because predictions for tonight, 9:30 TNT, the only game on tonight. The Denver Nuggets and the crowned MVP, Nikola Jokic, looking to tie this series up in Phoenix, battling the Phoenix Suns. Game 2. Who you got?
Well, I would love for them to steal this home court situation from the Suns, but I feel like they're gonna go down 0-2. I got the Suns again.
I see your point. I see your point. However, I think the Nuggets can steal a game. I do. I think they really just lost was in that third quarter. After their initial run, the Suns just went crazy. So I think if they can stop that or fold that, maintain their positioning.
Yeah.
Also, Jokic needs to play a lot better because even though he played well, you and Ayton cannot be side to side. You're the league MVP now.
Yeah.
So let's go out there. You got to prove it. You got to play better than Ayton.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen. I got Nuggets in game 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. I think it's time to wrap things up, Ja. Any final thoughts for your connection cut out?
Oh, congratulations to Joker again. Like, again, the buy side of me is saying, dang, I really wish MB got this, but you know what I mean? And the internet casuals better not be on there talking about, oh, it was a shortened season, so like, you got to put an asterisk over this MVP or so for you. Like, cut it out.
No, the casuals saying Curry got robbed. That's what they say.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, they saying that. Nobody got robbed. It was a fair, equal game. Like, and I just want to say something real quick. I just noticed something a little bit in the Jazz game. I did not know that the Jazz did not play a game for 6 whole days before last night. And it was a snippet. Yeah, and it showed because they came out good and they came out energized, but they had a little bit of that slump. And you know how they say how sometimes
too much rest is bad.
Yeah, too much rest is bad. Like, sometimes they say it's good because, like, you come up fresh better than a team that just played a game 7 like the Clippers, but it says sometimes it could be the opposite way around. It's too bad because of the fact it's like a Clippers who just came off playing the game, they still have that
mode. They're still
bit,
in the mode.
Yeah, they still in that mode. Meanwhile, a team that has been rested for a really long time is kind of like not having to get back adjusted. I'm not saying this team's that can get back adjusted quickly, but it looked like you could clearly tell they had to take some time, but when they got back into their mode, they got back into it. So I just want to say sometimes, like, that situation could always go both ways, or it could switch up.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Also, forgot to even mention in that Clippers game, this just slipped me by. Cousins finally played.
Oh yeah.
Mark's Cousins. First time he's played as a Clipper in the playoffs. He didn't play in Dallas against the Dallas Mavericks. And he played really well up until he got in foul trouble.
Yeah.
But he came out, got a steal, went to the hoop and won, hit a 3.
Yeah.
I love to see him play, be big fans of Marcus Cousins. We just want to succeed.
Oh yeah. And believe it or not, right behind Embiid, he well, even before Embiid was even like, becoming one of the best centers in the league, he was actually my favorite center to watch. You know what I mean? And again, it's unfortunate with these injuries, man, but it's like, it's hard to avoid them. But like, because let's be honest, man, if he didn't have no major injuries, he's obviously will still be a superstar in this league, and he will be on a team with a max contract. So let's be honest, it's unfortunate, but a lot of these teams are saying that it's fortunate that DeMarcus Cousins had to go through the situation, because if they had to deal with who he was before injury, that would be
problem. Would be a problem. Also, real quick, you see D Rose got an MVP vote, first place vote.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Hey, to be honest, he deserves something. I
would get mad at this. Then looking at the player D Rose is and everything he went through, I can't help but smile.
You have to, man. You have to.
Yeah. Julius Randle probably should have won it though, but regular season award, by the way. Just look that up there.
I hate you.
All jokes aside, I guess that's the end. So that being said, thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, support the channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
Also follow our IG and our TikTok down in the description below.
Yes, sir. Please, so you can afford to email to keep. And once again, I'm Evan.
And I'm Ja.
This is the Mind of Basketball Podcast.
Playoff edition.
Playoff edition.
And sorry for the shitty ass internet.
Man, it's just embarrassing. Please just fix it. Please. Please. Don't say what you want me to do. Ethernet cable. Bye, everybody.